So, guys, I've decided that I'm going to do jaw surgery, orthodontic jaw surgery, and I'm going to do it with Dr. Alfie. I have not had the consultation with him yet, but I know he will be my surgeon because I want him to be my surgeon based on everything I've heard from his podcast, the people who he's treated, his patients, and assuming that the consultation goes well and I feel like he believes in my case, he believes in what I need and the plan, then it's going to happen because my whole life I knew that I had something wrong with me, and it's not a good feeling to have, but there was always something missing, aesthetically, but more importantly functionally, which leads to aesthetics. And I've done everything. Last year in 2024 I did the frenectomy to get more tongue mobility, and that would improve my breathing. It did help with some headaches and some neck pain, but it wasn't enough. So then I did a sleep study, and that led to me buying a CPAP, which I still use to this day, and it helps me sleep better. But even my sleep is not perfect. I still want to just go back to sleep when I wake up because I know I didn't have a good night rest. And after the CPAP, I started the MARPE treatment, and honestly the MARPE treatment did help me a lot in terms of nasal breathing during the day, but at night I don't think that's enough to accommodate for the lack of space in your throat, because you have two airways, the nasal area up here, and then you got this area here. Some people can be very good here and not good here, and then some could be very good here and not good here. In my case, that would be that latter example. So I knew that once I got this far into this journey of MARPE and skeletal expansion, jaw surgery became a reality, because I thought, if my upper jaw is very small for my age, what is the likelihood that it's also recessed and not advanced enough for my age? And just looking at myself and looking at other people that look really healthy in terms of skeleton around my age, I know I have a deficiency, because I'm sure those people have never dealt with my problems in terms of breathing or sleep apnea or just things that mess with your brain. And these last 2 years, guys, I feel like my overall performance and health is starting to take a decline, especially with my memory. Like when I was 22 and still, rolling and, working at a normal job, my memory was sharp. I could recall anything on a beat. And I think when I would turn 23, leaving college, and I put some weight on to bulk, right? I don't know why I did it, but I did. Actually, I know why I did it. But either way, once I put that weight on, that really worsened my sleep apnea symptoms. And I believe it did some damage to my brain, like a football player with CTE, because I wasn't getting enough oxygen. I was having horrible nightmares. My sleep was so garbage. And this is the time I wasn't even working, guys. So I had no reason to be waking up at the middle of the night 1 or 2, 3 times a night. There was no pressure from my body to just wake up like that. And from that moment, my memory is just not the same, even though I'm in my physical prime or entering or in the years of my physical prime. There's no reason for my brain to start declining when it's supposed to be done developing, if that makes sense. So when that happened and I started noticing my jaw started to click a lot more, I knew I had to do something about my skeleton, because our soft tissues just keep on growing, guys, and our skeleton will eventually not be able to withstand it if it's not big enough and strong enough. And that was the moment. I didn't really think of it, but when I heard the podcast and talk about those topics, it just made sense for me to expand my upper jaw. Like, the gate to your body is your jaw, your mouth. That's where food enters, oxygen, kind of water, liquid, everything, blood. If you do not have an optimal mouth, how are you gonna survive in the real world without soft foods prepped for us? Does that make sense? So having a powerful jaw is indicative of everything else that follows. If you have a powerful jaw, you more than likely have a powerful brain, because you're eating enough to take care of your brain and the rest of your body, and you definitely have very good oxygen intake if you have really good jaw development, because you have the space to not suffocate at night. And I can't believe I did not know about this, or nobody knew about this when I was younger, because I could have been taller, I could have been a better athlete, I could have done way more if this was addressed early on. And nobody has gone all this way for me except me. If I would have just given up and rolled over and accepted that my breathing sucks, I don't know, I don't believe in depression, I don't believe in that garbage, but I don't know if I'm alive, because my health was declining so bad, my quality of life was going so bad at one point last year. That's when I started doing all these consultations. What if I didn't take the next step? What if I did not get the myofunctional therapy and the tongue tie and the MARPI? I'd be in the same boat, having these horrible nightmares with a racing heart every night, basically doing a marathon every night, stressing my heart, high blood pressure, just deteriorating. So I know this is the next step for me. I'm young enough to heal really good from this surgery, but I'm old enough to know and comprehend the consequences. And honestly, some numbness is not a big deal to me. I already feel numb from the tads on one of my canines, and if it's anything like that, it's no big deal. It might be if it's all over my face, but whatever. This area of your body heals fast, so if there's a surgery to do on your bones where you have to destroy your body and reconstruct it, your face would be the place to do it, because it's right next to your brain. It's gonna take care of it. So it just makes sense for me to do this surgery before I turn 26, before the insurance I have no longer applies to me. And the time is of the essence. I know I can get this jaw surgery done soon with Dr. Alfie. I'm excited for this consultation. You know, all the previous surgeons kind of made me, except for the last one, but even then a little bit, it still felt kind of like I felt crazy, even though word of mouth said that these were really good surgeons, that I'm sure they are. They just focus on different areas. They focus on maybe aesthetics, maybe they focus on deformities in like from trauma, like a gunshot wound or punches, I don't know, but they focus on different things, implants, cosmetics. They weren't airway focused, even though it was, especially with the second surgeon, I had a sleep study that said I have sleep apnea, and she still said I would not perform surgery on you because you're fine. And you know, that felt good, because that means I don't look ugly enough or, you know, deformed enough to get a surgery, right? I could just pass by as a normal person, but I don't want to live a normal experience. I'm here to live a great experience, because based on my genetics, I know what my genetics could look like if I had developed the way I'm supposed to develop, aka my dad. If I had parents that had shitty genetics, maybe I wouldn't care, because I wouldn't aspire to look like anything or function like them. But my dad, he functions so well. He looks great. I seen pictures of what he looks like when he was around my age, and I'm like, I'm supposed to look like that, but I just didn't get to it because of allergies, bad habits, bad nutrition that just didn't allow my skeleton to grow how it was supposed to. But I'm gonna fix everything, and I've done steps. I freed my tongue, no longer bite my cheeks when I eat. I fixed my cross bite. My upper palate is much wider than it is before. It feels great to have that tongue space. It feels great to breathe through my nose without being stuffed. Of course, it'll get stuffed if I have like mucus and it's a bad allergy and I just wasn't wearing a mask or something. But it's not every day. Like normal, healthy me, I'm not getting the stuffed nose. But the last thing to address is the most important thing. The most important surgery everyone should do is jaw surgery. And I think, honestly, if you start having crooked teeth or compacted teeth, you know, you need to get jaw surgery ASAP once you reach development, because your development has already been screwed up by your parents, by the nutrition they gave you, by the environment that they placed you. Because really, it's not really genetics at this point, based on where we are in history. For most people, it's environment. Most of our bloodlines have been tainted, and the DNA has been damaged enough where it only takes one generation to go from good to bad. If you had a bloodline of excellent, 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 back to back to back, and then you move to the United States and your kid eats shit USA food and does everything wrong, they still might come out. They more than likely will come out okay, because that DNA from that bloodline has been pristine. It has been maintained to be excellent. But most of us, our bloodline, our grandparents have already been exposed to a lot of garbage. So have our parents, that our DNAs are not as strong as it once was. It's already damaged, so it doesn't take much to keep getting worse, aka small jaws, bad airways, sleep apnea. It doesn't take much now. So even though I'm doing everything right, where I'm eating meat, so much meat, which is good, it's making me stronger, it's giving me a lot of strength. I'm outside enjoying the sun. I work outside. I breathe air, not normal air, every day, because I work outside. I walk every day based on my job. Even with all that, it can't overcome a skeletal deficiency, especially one that compromises the most important part of your body, which is your face. That's what you can compromise with a cut leg. You might not be an Olympic athlete for the normal team, but you can still achieve high things, because there's technology to fix that. But for a jaw, nobody knows about it. They think it's normal to have a gummy smile, to have a small chin, to have a small jaw, to look cute, when it's really the look of underdeveloped. That's not. It's so common now that it's accepted as normal, and we've adapted to those faces, that we have become attracted to it somewhat, but not fully. And we know it's not right, because when we compare a healthy person to what the average is, we already know who we would rather be with, or be close to, or be around with, just based on genetics that were optimized, right? So, back to the jaw surgery. What do I want from this? I really want my jaw to be advanced. I want the cant that I have, that is being fixed by the power chain, to be fixed. If I gotta get rid of the tabs, whatever, it could be seen as money down the drain, not spent well, but I don't care. Once I do this, I won't have to come back and worry about this again. I could just go on with my life, and this chapter of one to almost 2 years now can just be put to bed. It's really a lifelong chapter of the breathing issues, but we're nearing the end. And once I do this jaw surgery, and hopefully it's a big advancement, I don't really even care if I look like a fucking wolf. Got that dog in me. All right, enough with the jokes. But I'd rather be over advanced and have a really badass airway, because that's going to lead to results, performance improvement, that it won't matter what I look like, to be honest. And anyways, it'll look better than what I look now, because I look fine, but to me, I know I can look way better just based on what my dad looks like. He has straight teeth. His wisdom teeth erupted straight. So I know what my face could have looked like if I had grown up very similar to him. So if I can achieve something close to that, and man, I'd be lucky if I get something better, like a better result from that surgery. If I can be around that in striking distance in terms of just a new jaw, new face, new function, I will be blessed. Obviously, I'm aiming for better, because the next generation is supposed to surpass the previous one. Otherwise, how would we advance? Right? So I'm trying to aim for the most optimal airway I can possibly have. I want to do the double jaw surgery so I don't have a flat face, Side profile, it looks like my eyes are always tired. I'm probably always tired because I don't have that much a bone support over here that's pulling my muscles forward. It just sags. And it's going to get worse as I get older. And with the sleep apnea, with me not being fully rested, that also makes it worse. So it's like a two swords stabbing at one thing. And if it wasn't for my pretty good diet, I'd look like absolute dog crap. And my diet can be better, so I know I can look even better. But still, it won't change the bone structure because it's fused. So, I want the maxilla advanced, right? So I can at least look like I have some cheekbones, because it looks good. It just looks good on everybody to have like some good cheekbones. It's like armor for your face. And your smile looks way better when you have cheekbones. It's friendly, it's lovable. Weird word to use, but it's true. And then a jaw, prominent jaw, like just a longer, and it's gonna look wider the more it's advanced, but just a bigger, broader jaw, because I think because of my underdeveloped skeleton, and it's not severe, but it's like proportionately recessed, so it's like has harmony but recessed, so it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look optimal in my opinion. Because of that, I look younger than when I really am, unless I grow the facial hair or my skin looks like garbage. And when people say, oh, I thought you were like younger, I really started to think it's not because of my skin, because I've had acne, I've had everything. I know my skin looks pretty good for my age, but it's not like, holy crap. It's like, wow, I never get compliments for my skin. It just looks healthy. I really started to think it's because of my skeleton, because it just doesn't look developed for a man. It looks developed for a teenager or a high schooler. It doesn't look like a skeleton for my age, mid-20s. Not an optimal one. So I'm hoping with the advanced maxilla, with more support here for my soft tissue here, and a broader jaw, a longer jaw, with most importantly the optimal, like most airway volume I could get out of the surgery. Hopefully the world record, the most I can get, and then the genioplasty for the aesthetic look. Because my dad, he has like, in some pictures when he was younger, he had like that Buzz Lightyear chin. So I know it would look good on me with a very good pronounced chin. My sister has a nice chin, and she looks very good right now at 21. She has a really good bone structure. She never had these allergies that I do, and that's why her face developed pretty good. Even her wisdom teeth were fine, but the military had to take them out. Fucking military. Fuck them. But her skeleton was really good. She's never had breathing issues like me. We have the same genetics. It's just that I was just exposed to something or some bad food that didn't optimize my testosterone that led me to this. I think a lot of the garbage food that we eat today and habits really destroy men more than they destroy women. That's why there's more beautiful women now than there are beautiful men. Because a lot of the garbage stuff that we eat lower our testosterone and it keeps our estrogen high, which is very bad for male development. But for women, okay, you might have garbage testosterone, which is like no big deal, and your estrogen might be elevated artificially from these garbage ass foods, but that's fine if you're a woman, because you still develop like a woman. Maybe not optimally, but you still develop like a woman. That's why I think there's way more beautiful women than there are men. That's why we have these OnlyFans things. That's why we have all these industries that are just unnatural. In a natural world, men would actually look way better than women. Like if you look at the most developed and healthy man, they actually are way better looking than the most beautiful woman out there. And that's facts. No diddy. Like when you see an absolute specimen of a man, you're like, holy crap. But when you see a fine woman that looks healthy, you're like, wow, beautiful, but you're not like, oh my God. Get what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna achieve that point unless some new technology comes out where we just can grow more bone, bigger skeleton, blah blah blah, rejuvenate our youth. I don't really care about that. Most important thing to address is your face, your jaw, for your health and for your looks, because it influences everything. Survival of the fittest, Darwinism. It only makes sense that those with bad jaws have trouble in life, in every aspect, like dating, because you look as ugly, your performance. It makes sense that your weak jaw influences that because you're not breathing well, you can't keep up. And then your intelligence, like if you're always out of oxygen, your brain is dying. So it makes sense a mouth breather, someone who can't get enough oxygen, turns out to be dumber than what they should have been. And then they age worse because they're always under stress, they're always under attack from apnea. And a clear example of that is my uncle. I saw a picture of him when he was a kid, and he was actually a very handsome guy. And then somewhere along the way, he must have not eaten well. He must have picked up a freaking allergy, something. It must have been bad nutrition because they moved to cities. And he grew a recessed jaw, bad. Now his teeth are not the best. He has strabism. He didn't have strabism as a kid. And I'm just like, oh my God, like all of these things are related. Everything that affects your jaw worse affects the rest of your body worse. I think if you have a bad jaw, you have strabism. The only exception would be Jason Momoa, which is interestingly, he has strabism, but his jaw is pretty good. So it's not like direct. I know this video is taking a turn, but I'm gonna finish it going back to the point. I'll be visiting Houston, Texas, first time ever next month. I'm excited. Stay there a couple of days, maybe check out the city, get the vibes. Maybe I want to live there for a bit if I like it enough. Who knows? Have some old friends that have moved there in the last couple of years. And I'm sure they're doing great. But I'll be seeing Dr. Alfie. I'll do the consultation. I'll try to spill my whole story because I want to feel like he gets an understanding of who I am, my motivations, what I've done, that I'm serious about this. I'm not here to waste his time. I got everything ready for him to accept me as his client and do his best work on me. I have the insurance. I have the sleep study that confirms my apnea. And I've done the work to show I'm really committed to this vision, to this philosophy of maximizing the airway, which will naturally improve your aesthetics. It just makes you better. If you're more healthy, you naturally look better. You look more optimized. Thus, you look more attractive to procreate. It just makes sense. That's why I don't believe in these filler surgeries or like rhinoplasty, because all of these other things are a symptom of weak jaws. If your jaws are very good and they're optimized, your nose will look proportionate and it will be supported. It will be straight. Your hormones will be optimized, so you will develop a really good masculine face or a feminine face, and your body will follow. Curves or broad shoulders, whatever gender you are. So that's why I don't really believe in all that garbage. So that's why I don't mind spending thousands of dollars for this one surgery, because it's the surgery that's going to change my life for the better. And I'm not saying my life is garbage, but I never imagined I would be where I am today. And it's not a bad thing, but I always strive for more. And I always envisioned that I would have this by this age. I would be doing this at this age. And it feels like I'm missing something that's been holding me back. And it's the most important thing that's been holding me back. And it's my own airway. I'm not going to make an excuse about it, but I know if I could just wake up excited to take on the day, it's going to change everything. I'll be able to wake up earlier. I'll be able to wake up motivated to take on the world. And not saying that I just don't like living. But when you wake up in your physical prime, and in the first 10 seconds, you already want to go back to bed, that is a very bad thing that is happening. Especially when you're young. You're not like hurt, you're not amputated, you're fine, you're healthy for the most part. You're not broke. But the first thing you think of, man, I just want more rest. You don't even think about the other things that make you enjoy life. If that's you need to address, you need to do something about it ASAP, because the years go by and then you realize you miss so many experiences, which I have, because I was never feeling my best, so I didn't care to do these experiences. But the moment you realize you want to do them, everyone else has moved on to different parts of their life, and you cannot go back and do them. You can, but you would have to fit into some different age groups. Let's say I missed out partying. I've done partying. I could have partied a lot more, honestly. But let's say I felt unsatisfied. Maybe I kind of do, right? But let's say I feel unsatisfied and I want to party like a 21 or 22-year-old. I can't go back and do that with the same group of people, because a lot of those people have done that. They started families or they moved. So because I let this tiredness, this not giving a crap attitude that comes from my sleep apnea, because I've let it gone on for all these years, I'm not going to let it go on any further. That's why this surgery is extremely important. And I honestly hope somebody, I don't care if I know you personally or if you're just some random person watching this video, this surgery is for vanity, but it's also for function. It's equal for both. But honestly, it's more for function. I'm going to say it's more for function, because if you get the function, everything else follows. If you do something for vanity, the function doesn't always follow. You get it? So if the function is optimized, the vanity or the aesthetics will come, and everything else will fall into place naturally. Okay? So that's really it, guys. Double jaw surgery with the genioplasty is what I believe. I will absolutely need everything that I've thought about that I needed in this journey. I've been correct, guys. When I was doing the tongue tie release, the first consultation that I did in Fort Collins, a doctor from Harvard told me I don't have a tongue tie. She looked at me. She didn't do like a full examination. She just did a basic one. Kind of wasted my time, but at the same time not. She said, I don't have a tongue tie and I'm fine. She said, tongue tie patients have this, and you don't have that. However, she's not a specialist in that. I had a posterior tongue tie. I couldn't even do this. My tongue would just reach here. And because my tongue was restricted for for almost 24 years of my life, I was never able to apply the proper muscle pressure to my maxilla, and that's why it became underdeveloped. That's probably one of the main reasons why I never got that frenectomy done when I was a baby. And then, when I went to do the expansion consultations, right, the first ortho said I can't do it, like the most we can do is 1 millimeter, because he doesn't practice that. But honestly, anything in this world that you want, it can be done. It really can with technology, and if you have the money to do it, you can do it. And I just kept looking for a provider. And then I remember I went to this other ortho that I did a consultation with many years ago, who gave me my first consultation with the surgeon that I ghosted because I asked the team, how often does he do this surgery? And how long does it take? It takes 8 hours for him, and he only does it a few times a year. And that's not one of his main, practices that he does in his business. No. So I'm not going to settle for that. I must go with the best, who actually knows this surgery like the back of their hand. So I just kept looking. I didn't want to do a Sarpy because the surgeon would have had to install that, and it would have been way more expensive with the surgeon, F that. And then I just kept looking for a provider, and I mean, I honestly could have now I know there's better providers than the one I settled for, to be honest. That's what I think. But I still looked at 2 pretty good providers for the MARPI, which they said I could benefit from. The first one that I chose, definitely said I could benefit from it, so that's why I went with them, and they were cheaper overall. Still expensive, but cheaper. But maybe if I would have gone with the more expensive one, I wouldn't have had this asymmetry, but who knows? No regrets at this point. It's already done. But I found somebody who believed in my case for the MARPE, and we've done the MARPE. And now we're just trying to fix the bite. But fixing this bite is not going to fix the airway back here. It's not going to fix the bone projection here. My face is significantly wider, which I like. It makes me look more like my age in a good way. But if I expand it this way, I need to expand this way. I need to be proportionate. I need to be natural. You get what I'm saying? Everything has to be maximized proportionally or optimized. So the MARPE help, that's really the middle phase. That's like the stepping stone degree. And now I'm at the stage where it's time to take it to the next level. The next level, which is jaw surgery with the genioplasty. And I believe this will be done within the next 7 months. And I know I can get it soon if I push for it, if I do everything right in my consultation. Because believe it or not, business owners, I am one, there are clients that I prefer to service more or faster than others, just based on our relationship and peace of mind. If a customer is so easygoing with me, pays on time, appreciates me, does everything right, and doesn't like make me ever have a negative thought about servicing them, if they ask me for something, I'm gonna be on it right away. But if there's customers that just make me like even have to think about something where I didn't like it at first, never suggested, it like kind of deteriorates my priority for them. So I gotta go into this consultation where I'm just like, hello doctor, like good attitude, because attitude is everything. Even if you look like you don't need it, if you make a good impression with somebody, they're gonna be interested in your needs or case, whatever it is. So that's what I have to do in this consultation. That's the most important thing. Leave a very good impression where I'm memorable and they think about my case just a little more than someone else's, because that I think will get me the best results possible. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. I never thought I would even consider jaw surgery when I started mewing, but the more I learned, the more I realized this is something I'm probably gonna have to look into with every step of the way. With every surgery, frenectomy, MARPE, braces, TADs, with everything I've done, I've crossed out these paths, and they just keep leaving one in front of me, the biggest one, which is jaw surgery. The ultimate, the pinnacle of surgeries for somebody, in my opinion, that could just change your life in the most positive way, because it's the door. You're changing the entrance of your kingdom. You're upgrading it. And if my intuition is right, like it has been with every procedure, with every risk, if this surgery goes as I think it can be with Dr. Alfie and his methods, which I have full confidence that he can do, whatever the plan is that he suggests, and I hope it's a very big movement, because it will make me a new person. If it goes as well as I think, my life, guys, is going to 10x, 100x in ways that I've wanted it to be improved on. It's going to allow me to be me, the real me. I want to be able to smile again without being embarrassed of my canted, gummy smile on my right side. I won't have to worry about looking like a freak. I don't look like an absolute freak, but I just don't look healthy. You know what I'm saying? Even though I am technically, but I'm not. But I know if it gets to where I want it and the results from this surgery are what they are, with patience and with time, with faith, and with a good outlook on the possibilities of what can be done, I know that I'm going to accelerate my life and experiences that I've missed on, and attain new memories that I don't know if I would have reached as soon as I could right now in my current state. Because when you look good, guys, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're excited to take on the world. You wake up earlier, You wish that you didn't have to take breaks or sleep. You just wish you could just keep on going without stopping. I hope everyone, in whatever endeavor it is, experiences that once in their life where they're the absolute man in their domain. And I experienced that once when I was in track for like a couple years. I was just like number one. And I don't think it's good to look back in hindsight to like high school, but in this case it's good because I know what it feels like to be at the top of whatever I like and enjoy and be addicted and be obsessed with something that's giving back to me, and it's a positive feedback loop. So by doing this surgery, it's going to allow me to just be me again, and I'll be able to find and put myself in new experiences with the best version of me. And just with that, I know everything else that I've been wanting to have, maybe not forever, but at least experience and learn from, it's going to happen much faster when I'm the best version of me, where I can be fully me and I don't have these weird habits. Not like, maybe I have a little anxiety, I don't know if I do, but maybe ADHD, impulsiveness. I know impulsiveness is a symptom of, a bad airway, which, I never thought I did have impulsiveness, but I really do. That's how I hurt my knee. But at the same time, that's a good trait about me, because if I didn't have that impulsiveness, I would have never started a business. I would have never done some of the things that have led to me today, like seeking help, improving my health, taking on new ideas. So yeah, guys, jaw surgery is next. I'm going to make another video after this just to make it more condensed, but just purely about Dr. Alfie and my whole route within the next month. But yeah, and also I'm going to make a Marpy video. But thanks for watching if you stuck all the way.